Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final episode of Season 4 of the Most High Show. Yes, indeed, this episode, we're going to flip the script just a little bit, and we're going to take the normal host out of the host seat and put him on the hot seat. Christian Jansen has been hosting this show for 4 seasons now, and it felt like a good time to ask him some questions about who he is, about the show, and what he wants to be when he grows up.
Yes. I'm still trying to figure that out.
So here we are.
Yeah.
4 seasons in. Do you think you get this far?
No. Look, really, we've only been doing it about a year. So I think we made some good strides.
Am I over-exaggerating the depth of this conversation?
No, I think so. I mean, whatever,
4 seasons is 4 seasons, man.
Hey, man.
It's winter, it's spring, summer, and fall. 4 seasons. I mean, bam.
There it is.
Good enough for God. So you've had 4 seasons, a year. It's time to kind of take a look in the rear view, evaluate.
Yeah.
Reality as best you can,
Yeah.
But at the same time, allow yourself to hope for what's next, right? You got some momentum.
Yeah.
What do you think you have learned about the show, doing the show, talking to people who listen to the show?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I've complicated things, to be honest. I think the heart of what happens is the conversation,
Mm-hmm.
is the people,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you want to capture that as best as you can,
Mm-hmm.
I've learned that I can't do it by myself. I need help. I need the right people. So some people have come along to help us to produce episodes better. But none of that matters if the conversation is not 100%. And I honestly, in retrospect, looking back, I can say, there were some times when I was putting on a show.
Yeah.
And now I'm like going, I don't want to put on a show anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
I need to, let's dive in and really get real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So authenticity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some might call you like on a digital mission.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that statement? You're a missionization of the digital world, or what?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we use the term digital missionary. I think that's kind of what we're doing. We're kind of taking the message out to where people are.
Mm-hmm.
And in that, we did a mission trip to Paris through Envision.
Who's we?
Me and my wife.
Oh, okay.
And
why didn't you invite me, man? That's kind of rude.
it's like we were like, yeah,
we did. No, we did not. You did not invite me for some reason. No. Paris.
Yeah, my wife.
Was your wife?
It's like, yeah, we're going on a mission trip to Paris. Everyone's like, yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm
struggling.
You're gonna be doing the missionary. But we did, and this is what opened our eyes. Is that, and this is what I love about Envision, and what they do is they go to where they're going, and they reach the people where they're at.
Sure.
So Envision in Paris is very much it's a cultural art center. They have music, they have art up, they have karaoke night, and they have this active English where you go in there and learn how to speak English. And they're not in any way trying to present religion or present, they're just being a safe place.
Mm-hmm.
And by creating this space, you kind of, people come in. No, it's not a secret. Everyone knows the church kind of got this thing set up. But
church-sponsored
it's
thing.
like as the time goes on and people are allowed to be who they are, they're allowed to actually have conversation.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I think is important is that if you don't know how to have an honest, healthy relationship with another human, I think it's unfair to assume that you know how to have a fair, honest relationship with an invisible, omnipotent, creating of the universe God.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So I love that model. It's just like, let's come in, you guys hang out, we're gonna meet you where you're at.
Yeah.
And we're not gonna put no timeline on you.
Yeah.
We're not gonna and talking to the guys that run that mission there, it's a struggle
Mm-hmm.
because they go to their conferences
Right.
and everyone's going, we registered 3,000 humans for the Jesus Squad, and they're over going,
We served 25 cups of coffee. Yeah, right.
And,
Had a conversation with 3 people. Yeah.
but what we really got from that was, man, I love that approach.
Right.
And Envision does that in a lot of different places.
Mm-hmm.
They reach people where they are.
Mm-hmm.
And all the teams that they have out there are just so great. And so when we came home, we were like, we need to really do this,
Mm-hmm.
at home.
Yeah.
Because the need is here too.
Create safe place
Create a safe place.
for people to engage
Yeah.
on the internet. Which, I mean, some may say, right, that the internet is a place for people to put up a front. Like you said, they market, they brand, they kind of put this foot forward, that projects one thing. And you're saying, in the midst of all of this, editing,
Yeah.
can we bring in a real authentic
Right.
expression of life,
Yeah.
to people all over the world?
Yeah.
And especially those who are hurting down and out on the fringe.
I keep putting this in a post, that you're loved and accepted as you are. And every time I say that, it's even hard for me to say that
Sure.
because there's this like,
You're loved and accepted for who you are by one person who happens to be the Most High.
right.
So if anybody can do it well, it's him,
Mhm.
But at the same time, the
It's
other
hard to
few
believe.
billion people are trying, but
Yeah.
a lot are doing better than others.
It's hard to believe that
Yeah.
you're loved and accepted. So much is
Yeah, without anything you need to.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as dads, we're kind of the rule of the roost, but,
Right.
our job's to try to accept our kids, yet it's also to raise them.
Yeah.
So there's that tension.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the nice thing I think about God sometimes is at times I can parentify God and it's like, well, no, he's not trapped in that, kind of like tension.
Yeah.
He's like, just as you are, right where you're at, no problem.
Yes. Right.
And yes, I will be happy to make you into your better version,
Yeah.
but he can do that in a way that no one else can.
Absolutely.
That's why we're doing the show. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what kind of critiques or criticism do you feel like you've come under in a year? Sure, some people have maybe taken you in a way you weren't trying to be taken.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's been some church folks.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's some statements. I mean, I think even the statement that you're loved and accepted as you are.
Right.
I think there's a lot of church folk that would have problems with that.
Yeah.
And so that's been like the most, kind
So you feel like you've been a little misinterpreted by church folk? A few.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Is it you're not what people might think a missionary is, or you're tattooed, so therefore, or
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I honestly think it comes down to modality. I think it comes into
how you
the
present
method in which we
the thing.
present,
Mhm.
the truth,
Mhm.
right? And so there is a way that's been done for a long time, and that way has done what it's done,
Yeah.
and
And in some ways, it's been good, right?
Yeah, in
It's
a
a
lot of
mode
ways,
that's been
yeah.
affected, both effective and affected culture. Yeah. Sure.
yeah. But then there's this kind of horizon of like, all right, can we do it differently?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Right.
And it's like, oh my gosh, we can.
Yeah.
We, this whole concept of like, we have to show up on this Sunday and we have to do church in this specific way.
Location. Yeah. Way.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I've been a part of a men's group that over the last 5 years of my life, we get together every Monday, and that group, it's been different guys over the years, but church happens in that group so often.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is like, if I don't get to that group for a couple weeks, it's like, man, I feel it. I feel it in my soul. I feel like, man, I needed that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that's not a new idea,
Sure.
right? But
It goes back to the genesis of church.
yeah, right.
Sure.
So, we're just kind of trying to take the means of the technology that's out there, right? And do our best with presenting the truth.
So
and being mindful that not everybody believes and thinks the way we do. But that doesn't disqualify them from the grace and love and mercy of the Most High God.
Right. And in that, right, if I got it right, you're also trying to say, just because you and I don't agree the same things,
Yeah.
like you still want to have conversation. You still want to say,
Yeah.
you know, I'm trying to create a table for people to talk.
Yes, absolutely.
You know.
That's key. I think that's key. You know, because when you sit at the table and you start talking, you realize, oh,
yeah,
you know, we're all experiencing this life to some degree together.
Sure. Yeah, we're all humans going through this there's a human experience we all share.
Yeah.
And from there, you know, we can agree on that, and from there we can talk about spirituality, hope, you know.
It's one thing to get somebody to just realize that they are not the God of their own universe.
Yeah.
That is a huge revelation for somebody, right? Much less put a name or put a personality, right? There's one thing to say, okay, number one, you're not in charge. There's a power greater than you.
Yeah.
And even go take a step back from that. There's one thing to say, there's this force that created what's here today. That's huge.
Yeah. Sure.
That is a huge accomplishment if you go, oh yeah, I agree.
Right. Yeah.
So now take this identity and now personify it. Now take it a step further. Now, not only does this personified creator this personified creator wants to have a relationship with you.
Yeah. Yep.
Knows you intimately.
He didn't just like push you on your way and like see
Yeah.
you when you graduate.
Right. Loves you and accepts you as you are and wants to be in a deep, committed, all-out relationship with you.
Yeah.
Right?
He's invested the whole way through it.
I mean, dude, from just that spectrum right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's huge.
Yeah.
And so to me, if someone can get any win along that lines, man, you know what I mean? That's my lot, right? So somebody else may come in and say, okay, now it's my turn to whatever, hold them accountable. Or,
Sure. The guy interviewing just ran out of questions. like, oh man.
Yeah, I mean, I think
I got one.
Go ahead.
What would you say to that church person? You know, the person who's like, hey man, I'm just trying to avoid falling into temptation. I'm trying to avoid the pitfalls of this life. So, you know, I've insulated myself in my church family, you know, in safe places so that I don't fall into, you know.
Right.
You know, yet that person, if they really believe the teachings of Jesus, like they are called by him to go affect eternity positively, you know, and to take this message of hope out, you know. What would you say to them? How do they engage in a culture that is a little anti-religious establishment, you know, ism, you know, but certainly not anti-hope, you know, they're really looking for hope. How would you help, you know, that Christian person engage people who you more naturally engage with?
I mean, the person you're describing is a consumer. They're consuming Christianity, right? So, to me, they're the ones that need to be reached. They're on the fringes of their faith, right?
Even though they're insulated in that world, you're really on the fringe.
Man.
Yeah.
Called 911, right? They're actually, you know, in almost a worse place because they're consuming this faith and not activating it and acting out on it. So you could venture to say that possibly they have an image, an idol called God that's not really God. Yeah,
they're still the boss of their life because they've taken God and made him controllable.
Listen, I feel, as we're talking about that person, I feel for that person, right? Because they're, you know, they're on the fringe, they're on the outskirts. They're, even though they're considered as, you know, part of the flock or insulated, like you said, you know, but man, that person needs it.
Yeah.
You know, I think one of the things, like the one quick way to get out of this mess, if you're in that insulated mess, go volunteer at a soup kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Or, go online and go on Instagram and search up #cutting. And go see the depravity.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Not to make you feel bad.
Yeah.
But to maybe open your eyes to see that what we do here matters.
Yeah.
If what happens here on earth didn't matter, I don't think God would have went through the whole hoopla, becoming human and living and breathing and dying as a human, if what happened here doesn't matter.
Sure.
If we're just meant to be here and consume His grace and love and then keep it moving to the next side, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Purpose.
Yeah. It's like, what's God's will for my life?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we know what the will is for your life. It's just tell other people about the love of God that you've experienced.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not complicated, right?
Yeah. It's what they call the Philemon principle, right? The book of Philemon, one of the shortest letters that Paul writes, and he's like, hey, and my prayer is that you would be active, Philemon, in sharing your faith. Because in doing that, you'll get a greater understanding of what we really have.
Yeah.
So...
But people have to go through that process, and so
for me,
you can't condemn that person.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a little where I think we're feeling the same way right now. It's like I remember when I got serious about my faith. 18, 19 years old. Well, I was tempted to jump back into the stuff I just got out of.
Yeah.
So I was feeling like I need to insulate myself from that stuff. I need to protect myself, and
right.
in the midst of that. It was it was not a lack of opportunity, but it was more of a personal fear. Like I'm gonna fail, I'm gonna fall back in, I'm gonna fail God. This God that just saved me, now I'm saved, but I'm gonna have to get saved again. I don't want I don't want that to happen. Like I don't be the delinquent guy that like throws off the life ring just to jump back in the water and drown again.
Right.
And just that concern, like I don't want to fail you, God. I'm gonna stay here so I don't fail. But the fear of not trying, the fear of not investing anything, is, I think maybe in God's eyes far worse. He's like, hey, where's your faith really at?
Yeah.
If I'm the God of your soul, if I really got you, you can step out in faith to try to help somebody, even if they're not like you.
Yeah.
Because I got you.
Yeah. I mean,
not to do it foolishly, but you can.
It's not like He's surprised by our actions or inactions, and it's not like His grace isn't sufficient in that. And it's not like He doesn't know how to communicate. He's like the communicator. So if He wants to get a message across to you, He will. Right? Sure. There's a statement. It's really hard to digest. You are where you are because God has allowed you to be there. Yeah. And sure, we're sitting here recording. Yeah. Life is good. But the person who has just survived a rape, that statement is saying that God's grace is sufficient to cover everything. Yeah. And if I think when I kind of started to digest that you are where you are because God has allowed it. Yeah. It kind of helped me kind of just relax a little bit. Like, okay.
It's helping me relax right now.
Yeah.
Feeling.
I mean, because we feel so pressure, and it's like these are our people, and we don't want to see them hurt. And I don't want you to. And it's like, man. We kind of like helicopter parent our brethren, right? Make sure you come back next Sunday, because, oh God, if you don't come back 2 weeks in a row, something might happen.
La 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 la.